Alright, museum. In 1935, the first Turkish president and founder of the Republic of Turkey, Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, transformed the building into a museum. The carpets were removed and the marble floor decorations such as the Omphalion appeared for the first time in centuries, while the white plaster covering many of the mosaics was removed. Nevertheless, the condition of the structure deteriorated and the World Monuments Fund placed Hagia Sophia on 1996 World Monuments Watch, and again in 1998. The building's copper roof had cracked, causing water to leak down over the fragile frescoes and mosaics. Moisture entered from below as well. Rising groundwater had raised the level of humidity within the monument, creating an unstable environment for stone and paint. With the help of financial services company American Express, the World Monuments Fund secured a series of grants from 1997 to 2002 for the restoration of the dome. How can you not be able to find money for a monument as important as the Hagia Sophia? Anyway, the first stage of work involved the structural stabilization and repair of the cracked roof, which was undertaken with the participation of the Turkish Ministry of Culture. The second phase, the preservation of the dome's interior, afforded the opportunity to employ and train young Turkish conservators in the care of mosaics. Good, fun. By 2006, the World Monuments Fund project was complete, though many other areas of Hagia Sophia continue to require significant stability improvement, restoration, and conservation. Although the use of the complex as a place of worship should be strictly prohibited, in 2006 the Turkish government allowed the allocation of a small room in the museum complex to be used as a prayer room for Christian and Muslim museum staff. And since 2013, from the minarets of the museum, the muezzin sings the call to prayer twice per day in the afternoon. I don't know why they would. Okay, I mean, okay, they do the call to prayer, yeah, but people don't pray in the Hagia Sophia anymore. So why would they call people from the Hagia Sophia to pray? Anyway, since the early 2010s, several campaigns and government high officials, notably Turkey's Prime Minister, I can't read that. I don't know how to pronounce Turkic. In November 2013, have been demanding that Hagia Sophia be converted into a mosque again. God, these people. Yeah, whatever. The building's too old. You can't have it full of worshippers 5 times a day anymore. The building is gonna fall apart. Alright, architecture. Cool. Hagia Sophia is one of the greatest surviving examples of Byzantine architecture. Its interior is decorated with mosaics and marble pillars and coverings of great artistic value. The temple itself was so richly and artistically decorated that Justinian proclaimed, "Solomon, I have outdone thee." Hubris. Justinian himself had overseen the completion of the greatest cathedral ever built up to that time, and it was to remain the largest cathedral for 1,000 years up until the completion of the Cathedral of Seville in Spain. Justinian's basilica was at once the culminating architectural achievement of late antiquity and the first masterpiece of Byzantine architecture. Its influence, both architecturally and liturgically, was widespread and enduring in the Eastern Orthodox, Roman Catholic, and Muslim worlds alike. The vast interior has a complex structure. The nave is covered by a central dome, so the nave, I mean, that's the central bit is the nave. The massive dome is in the middle there. Its central dome, which at its maximum is 55.6 meters from floor level, and rests on an arcade of 40 arched windows. Repairs to its structure have left the dome somewhat elliptical, with the diameter varying between 31.24 and 30.86 meters. At the western entrance side and eastern liturgical side, there are arched openings extended by half. Maybe I should go inside. Yeah, we can't see minarets. Let's look at the outdoor stuff, which is minarets. Red brick, while the other 3 were built from white limestone and sandstone. I don't see that. Okay, we're going to go inside. Alright, let's stop reading here, because we're gonna talk about the interior from now on. One of the minarets is red. Oh, that one's red. Okay, I see it. Let's jump off this tower. And get into this quest area in the game and see if that takes us into the inside of the mosque. Hopefully it does. Now, where's the entrance? Here? Here. Alright, let's see where this takes us. Please make it the interior of the Hagia Sophia. Please make it the interior of the Hagia Sophia. Don't know why we don't go in the front door. Going in the side door. Yes! Yes, interior! Thank you! Thank you, Ubisoft. I guess renovations are ongoing. You see the scaffolding. Renowned for his valor and courage, the remains of the Turkish assassin Ishak Pasha are buried in an underground tomb accessible through Hagia Sophia. Full sync, complete the level within 6 minutes. Well, we're not doing any of that because we're gonna slowly look around the Hagia Sophia. Oh, we're in the side area. We can't actually see the main part of the building. Alright, well, let's see if we can get into... and we might have to parkour a bit before we get inside, guys. Alright, jump over here. Do we really have to... Okay, that's not correct. But interestingly, we didn't actually have to do that bit, because there was a way to get back up. Why would... Alright. So we start off at the side. I wonder where that is. Let me just... Okay, I meant to press that. Are we... like there or something? It's not really obvious. Okay, sorry I fell off. Let me just go back and do that again. I'm trying to look at the plan of the building while we climb around. Alright, here we go. Explore the Hagia Sophia. Well, can I get out into the main area or not? Oh, here we go. Yes. Yeah, look around. Look, parkour puzzles. So it should be about 55 meters from ground to ceiling. There are birds in here. 55 meters from ground to ceiling. So I'm presumably 1.7, let's see, 2, and then 5, and then that makes 10, 2, 3, 4. It might be full size. Well, let me just look at this again. I'm 1.7. I'm guessing I'm 1.7. That makes that, like, that's 2 meters. And then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 10, 20, 30, 40? It might not be full size. It might be slightly less than full size. 10, 20, 30, 40. Yeah, it might be like 80% of full size or something. Because I think it's only 40 meters from the ground to the top of the dome there in the game, where it's supposed to be 55. But it's pretty close. If it's, you know, if it's 80% full size, it's pretty close. So we have mosaics. I believe these are the Byzantine mosaics, so they haven't plastered them up yet. Although I thought there were a few big columns somewhere around here. Alright, so here's the plan. Oh, here's a plan of it. Let me just open this up. So you see those windows up there. No, don't stop. Those windows up there. So that section is the long section, cutting halfway through from like there to there, looking that way. Right. And so that's the long section there, right? So the main piers holding up the dome are those 4 black bits there. Let me just go back and have a look at that. Alright, I see it. So there's solid piers. Maybe they're too thin here, look at that. Huh. Is that thick enough? Maybe. It doesn't seem like it. Maybe it's been cut short there. That's odd. Anyway, it's mostly correct. So apparently on the other side, the piers are not solid, because in the drawing it looks like there's like a gap in the pier. Or maybe that was the other side? I don't know. Columns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then behind that 2. So, oh, what? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 does not equal 6. Okay, this is not full size. Because 4 does not equal 6. Are you kidding me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a semicircle. Unless it's up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why is it 6 up there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait a minute. This is the upper floor, isn't it? It's not the ground floor. Really? And then 2 above. Oh, A and B. Oh, I see. It's the ground floor. The bottom half is the ground floor. The top half is the upper floor. I see how that works. So you see 4 there, and then 6 there. Yeah, okay. So A and B. So the top half of the map plan. It's not really clear, is it? The top half of the plan is the upper floor there, and the bottom half of the plan is the lower floor down here. Okay, that's right. And that's why. See up there, the piers. There's a gap there. Okay, so it's accurate. The drawing is just not very clear. That's cool. What else do we have to look at? Not much, really. Everything is exactly as you would expect. The dome is... So I was looking at that. Oh, even the patterns are accurate. Look at that. Let me just step back here and look at those patterns. So it should be 55 meters. I might have, just measured it wrong. So... If that's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, I'm using my fingers to try and measure out 10 meters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so from there to there should be about 10 meters, because if you take that, it's 5.5 times to get to the top of the dome. So that to that should be 10 meters. So if we go back into the game, so from the ground to about there should be 10 meters. 10, 20, 30, 40. I guess the dome is difficult to judge. Maybe it is full size. I think it actually is full size, now that I look at it. It's just difficult to gauge when you're looking up at a dome in perspective, just how tall it is. Maybe we need to climb up a little bit to see it properly. How do I get up there? Hold on, where do we start? The parkour? There's a ladder up there. So that can't be right. So we have to. Where do we start the parkour, guys? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see, get around there. Well, there goes 6 minutes. We lost the race, guys. Not that I care. I don't know where it starts. I'm completely lost. There's a ladder there, but you knock it down after sliding across there, don't you? You can't climb this. I don't know why you can't climb this. That makes no sense. I'll go this thing. Why can't we climb that? Anyway, we can't. So we're definitely not starting there. So we go backwards from there. That goes around to there. But that comes across there. Wait a minute. I don't understand. Maybe we start in the side areas? Here? Do we start here? Do we... no. Do we start back here? No? No. Ah, crap. Okay, we don't start there. Do we start... So we came in from there, we can see how that's covered up. Do we start here? No, we don't. Oh, we start here, don't you? We must start here. Alright, let's get some elevation. So is this enough elevation or we need to go higher? 10, 20, 30, 40. It's still hard to gauge them. Yeah, I think this is full size. Just saying. Alright, let's go back to reading. So, the vast interior has a complex structure. The nave is covered by a central dome, which is at its maximum 55.6 meters from the floor level, and rests on an arcade of 40 arched windows. So there's the central dome. The 40 arched windows, I think they mean those up there, right at the base of the dome. At the western repairs to its structure, and we've read that. At the western entrance side and eastern liturgical side, there are arched openings extended by half domes of identical diameter to the central dome, carried on smaller semi-domed exedras. A hierarchy of dome-headed elements built up to create a vast oblong interior crowned by the central dome, with a clear span of 76.2 meters. So from end to end is 76 meters, and there's the half domes there, and there's the half dome there, and then other smaller dome structures on other sides as well. So the clear span is 70 odd meters. Cool. Interior surfaces are sheathed with polychrome marbles, green and white with purple porphyry and gold mosaics. Green, white marble, purple porphyry, and gold mosaics. So is that this stuff? I think it's this stuff. Green marble, porphyry is the red stuff, white marble, what's this yellow stuff? And then the gold mosaics are up there on the interior. The exterior, clad in stucco, was tinted yellow and red during restorations in the 19th century at the direction of the Fossati architects. So that's the exterior. We can go back out and look at it if you want to. One of the mighty stone columns with metal clasps. Dome. The dome of Hagia Sophia has spurred particular interest for many art historians, architects, and engineers. because of the innovative way the original architects envisioned it. The cupola is carried on 4 spherical triangular pendentives. So that's what the 4, see that one there, that there, and one right above our heads. Those are the pendentives. So 4 spherical triangular pendentives is what they mean. So it's spherical triangles. Amazing. The pendentives implement the transition from the circular base of the dome to the rectangular base of below, restraining the lateral forces of the dome and allow its weight to flow downwards. They were reinforced with buttresses during Byzantine and later during Ottoman times under the guidance of the architect Sinan. The weight of the dome remained a problem for most of the building's existence. The original cupola collapsed entirely after the quake of 558. In 563, a new dome was built by Isidore the Younger, a nephew of Isidore of Miletus. Unlike the original, this included 40 ribs and was slightly taller, in order to lower the lateral forces on the church walls. So you can see the ribs there. So apparently the original dome was even weaker than that. That's kind of crazy. Largest section of the second dome collapsed as well in 2 episodes, so that today only 2 sections of the present dome in the north and south side still date from the 562 reconstruction. So the dome... Okay, so even that collapsed, or partially collapsed. Of the whole dome's 40 ribs, the surviving north section contains 8 ribs, while the south section contains 6 ribs. Okay, so... Actually, where is north and south? North and south. So the east and west sides fell down, and only the middle bit of the north and south part of the dome survived. That's crazy. Although this design stabilizes the dome and the surrounding walls and arches, the actual construction of the walls of Hagia Sophia weakened the overall structure. The bricklayers used more mortar than brick, weakening the walls. The structure would have been more stable if the builders at least let the mortar cure before they began the next layer. However, they did not do this. When the dome was erected, its weight caused the walls to lean outwards because of the wet mortar underneath. That's terrible. When Isidore the Younger rebuilt the fallen cupola, he had to first build up the interior of the walls to make them vertical again. Additionally, the architect raised the height of the rebuilt dome by approximately 6 meters so that the lateral forces would not be as strong, and its weight would flow more easily down into the walls. Moreover, he shaped the new cupola like a scalloped shell or the inside of an umbrella, with ribs that extended from the top down to the base. These ribs allowed the weight of the dome to flow between the windows, down the pendentives, and ultimately to the foundation. Hagia Sophia is famous for the light that reflects everywhere in the interior of the nave, giving the dome the appearance of hovering above this. This effect was achieved by inserting 40 windows around the base of the original structure. However, the insertion of the windows in the dome structure lowers its weight. The unique character of the design of Hagia Sophia shows how this structure is one of the most advanced and ambitious monuments of late antiquity. Yes. So I don't know if we get that in the game. No, we don't. But the interior should be darker, I think. And the light streaming in from the 40 windows beneath the dome basically makes the whole ceiling kind of glow. Or it should. But I guess the contrast in the light is not quite as high in the game as it is in real life. Urns and narthex and gallery. I don't know if we really need to read all of this. The upper gallery is laid out in horseshoe shape, encloses the nave until the asp. The lodge of the Empress is located in the center upper enclosure or gallery of the Hagia Sophia. Marble door. I don't know if these details are all important. Decorations. Originally, under Justinian's reign, the interior decorations consisted of abstract designs on marble slabs on the walls and floors, as well as mosaics on the curving vaults. Of these mosaics, one can still see the 2 archangels Gabriel and Michael in the spandrels of the bema. There were already a few figurative decorations, as is attested by the eulogy of Paul the Silentiary. The spandrels of the galleries are riveted in opus sectile, showing patterns and figures of flowers and birds in precisely cut pieces of white marble set against a background of black marble. Wow. Can we see those? In later stages, figurative mosaics were added, which were destroyed during the iconoclastic controversy. Present mosaics are from the post-iconoclastic period. The number of treasures, relics, and miracle-working painted icons of the Hagia Sophia grew progressively richer into an amazing collection. Apart from the mosaics, a large number of figurative decorations were added during the second half of the 9th century. An image of Christ in the central dome, Orthodox saints, prophets, and church fathers in the tympana below. Historical figures connected with this church, such as Patriarch Ignatius, some scenes from the Gospel in the galleries. Basil II let paint on each of the four pendentives a giant six-winged cherub. Somebody did not translate that properly. The Ottomans covered their face with a golden halo, but in 2009 one of them was restored to the original state. Okay. Terrible, terrible translations. So those are the cherubs there. 6 of them. I think those are archangels actually. Where are the cherubs? Those are the cherubs. Around there. I don't know, man. I don't know. So where are the birds and the plants in the black and white marble? Are they upstairs? Or are they those? Never mind. Mosaics? The church was richly decorated with mosaics throughout the centuries. They either depicted the Virgin Mother, Jesus, saints, or emperors and empresses. Other parts were decorated in a purely decorative style with geometric patterns. During the sack of Constantinople in 1204, the Latin Crusaders vandalized valuable items in every important Byzantine structure of the city, including the golden mosaics of the Hagia Sophia. Many of these items were shipped to Venice, whose Doge Enrico Dandolo had organized the invasion and sack of Constantinople. That guy is a master tactician. Like, the Crusades were going to the Holy Lands, and this guy convinced them to instead go to Constantinople and sack the city for Venice. This guy is like an evil genius. Following the building's conversion into a mosque in 1453, many of its mosaics were covered with plaster due to Islam's ban on representational imagery. This process was not completed at once, and reports exist from the 17th century in which travelers note that they could still see Christian images in the former church. In 1847-49, the building was restored by two Swiss-Italian brothers, Gaspare and Giuseppe Fossati, and Sultan Abdulmecid allowed them to also document any mosaics they might discover during this process. This work did not include repairing the mosaics, and after recording the details about an image, the Fossatis painted it over again. The Fossatis restored the mosaics of the two Heptaterga, six-winged angel. It is uncertain whether they are seraphim or cherubim, located on the two east pendentives, covering their faces again before the end of the restoration. The other two placed on the west pendentives are copies in paint created by the Fossatis, since they could find no surviving remains of them. Okay. As in this case, the architects reproduced in paint damaged decorative mosaic patterns, sometimes redesigning them in the process. The Fossati records are the primary sources about a number of mosaic images now believed to have been completely or partially destroyed in the 1894 Istanbul earthquake. These include a mosaic over a now unidentified door of the poor, a large image of a jewel-encrusted cross, and a large number of images of angels, saints, patriarchs, and church fathers. Most of the missing images were located in the building's two tympana. The Fossatis also added a pulpit and the four large medallions hanging in the nave bearing the names of Muhammad and Islam's first caliphs. So those are not in the game. And I think we can just skip all the rest of these. So these are just kind of details about the surviving mosaics. Alright, so that was a huge long article about the Hagia Sophia. So, you know, as we already knew, a very important building with a long history. And quite impressive. I think this is full size in the game. Alright, so well, since we're here, let's go parkour and climb all over everything and just finish the quest. And maybe get a view of the building from above. So the main, like the majority of the space in the middle is just a big open area, as you can see. Which is important, you know, if you want to fit a lot of people into a space of worship, you kind of need it to be big and open. Alright, so the camera is not under my control. Like, seriously not under my control. Which causes that to happen. Because I can't control the camera. Why? I don't know. Why would they need to do that? Look, I can't control the camera. It's not helping. Like this. Do I run forward? I run forward, not sideways. Okay, well, there you go. Like the camera is on a diagonal, but you have to go forward. Alright, checkpoint reached. Apparently this way. And apparently up. Okay, so now we are on the second floor. Yeah, so it's just a large rectangular space. I don't know, the dome seems to be too flat, doesn't it? I feel like the dome is too flat. I don't know if it is 55 meters. Anyway, it doesn't really matter too much. What else should we look at? Let me just grab the loot that's back here, since we're here. And casually walk around a little bit and have a look at the structure. That's pretty good, pretty interesting. Don't have too much else to say after all that reading, but most impressive. Alright, let's keep running. Where are we going next? This way. If we get up high enough, we can try and look down from above. Let's see how the place looks. Let's see. I don't know, it doesn't... It looks pretty bland, the floor. Does the floor look like that? Hold on. Hagia Sophia... Most of the photographs look up, which is understandable. What does the floor look like? Don't really have good photos of the floor, do we? I guess there's like... There's that painting there. Let's just look at this photo here. I guess the floor is pretty boring. There's a lot of furniture inside that's been removed, and look how close the chandeliers are to the floor. Although, you know, saying that, they're like maybe 5 meters off the ground. Like if you put candles 40 meters above the ground, you don't get any light on the ground because candles aren't very bright anyway. So in order for the light to reach the ground, the chandeliers actually hang all the way down to about 10 meters off the ground. Why is this here? I don't know. Okay. This is... okay, well that fell down. That's not cool. Not sure if this is still structurally plausible, given that it's partially collapsed. Probably is not. Okay, camera, stop swinging around. Don't really need your help. No. Jump first, then shift. Well, they also simulated the earthquake damage with all sorts of collapsed areas in the mosque. Actually, it's not a mosque yet, is it? I think it's still being converted when this game takes place. Where am I going? This way. Are you serious? Come on, you told me to back eject and I back ejected. And then that happens. Come on, game. That's just silly now. You saw that, right? It says back eject. So I did. And then I face planted and died. Okay, well, let's try that again. And there's no more checkpoints neither. I wish they wouldn't do that with the camera. It's like they think you can't control your own camera and they just swing it around for you. I don't know why the game thinks that's a good idea. Okay, so we do go up here, right? And then Ezio climbs up. Like, what am I ejecting to? Like, there? I'm supposed to reach that, right? Okay, you have to be on that side of that beam. You can't be on that side, otherwise you'll jump off like an idiot. Great. Hey look, we are almost at the dome. Okay, so now we're here and we can look down again. The dome is too flat. Look at that. Oh, I know what they've done. Because there's a room up there. They hid the loot above the dome. So the dome is not actually just the dome. There's a secret room up there, I think. In the game, that is, not in real life. I think, is that what it is? I'm not sure. Look at the light though. The light is kind of streaming in from the side. Although it doesn't really happen that often. Let's see, what's that side? That's the west, so it's kind of late afternoon sun streaming in. Pretty good looking. Okay, then we go up. Imagine doing this in 6 minutes. Like they spend all this time recreating one of the most important monuments in the world, and then they tell you to just race through it in 6 minutes and not look at anything. So if you do what they tell you to, then you don't even bother enjoying the architecture while you're here. Curious. Alright, so now we're here and we can just jump straight across, I believe. Alright, here we are. Oh no, it's underground. Alright, the chamber is underground. The chamber is not in the dome. Actually, now that we're here, is this dome too shallow? I don't know. I still think it kind of is. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not too shallow. Maybe it's Correct. Alright, so we jump into a hole in the ground. That is fictional. You won't find that in the real Hagia Sophia. Alright, here's the loot. Well, there it is, the Hagia Sophia. That was quite long, the video. We looked at the exterior and the interior. We didn't really look at the exterior that much. I think we mostly read about and looked at the interior. Maybe I should, before I end this, maybe I should just go back out and have a look at the exterior. And that's the best armor in the game. Awesome. Armor of the late Ottoman Vizier. Multiplayer bonus unlocked, really? Complete the level within 6 minutes. Yeah, right. Why would anyone do that? Alright, so let's go back outside, and I just want to have a look at the exterior of the building one more time. So a lot of the piers and the external structure was in fact added over the centuries to try to make the thing not fall down during earthquakes. So you have to imagine that when the Hagia Sophia was first built, a lot of the massive piers on the outside weren't actually part of the original building. Which, you know, seems kind of ridiculous. But it's also very difficult to tell which parts are original and which parts are additions. Let me just come over here and climb on top of this building, so we can have a look at the Hagia Sophia from a distance. Yeah, so you see like that buttress there, there's a bunch of buttresses around there. So it's we don't really know how much of these are original. Alright, well I guess I'll end the video here. I don't think there's anything else for us to say. And if you really want to take another look at it, you have to buy the game and play it yourself. Actually, is that 55 meters? I don't know if... I think it's actually smaller on the outside than it is on the inside in the game. No. Yeah, I think it's full size on the interior and slightly smaller on the exterior. I'm not sure. Anyway, I end the video here. I'll do the full synchronization in my own time. When we come back, we continue playing the game. I'll see you guys there.